decomposes into each other. So this is what she uses: time also as time and space, temporality. Time we say temporal, and space we say spatiality. So temporality and spatiality are used as fluid mediums here, and not as you see some fixed categories, some stable categories. I hope you kind of understood. The stories of the 12 dancing princesses is very important also. Why are they important? Because Winterson has used this device or a trope to purposely subvert the entire genre of these princess stories. The girl children, usually they are very fond of watching these princess stories. So what happens towards the end of each princess story is that they were married and then they lived happily ever after. So they are always married in that normative kind of a place, heterosexual marriage or a heteronormative marriage. Heteronormative marriage means where there is a man and a woman, a male and a female, the hero and the heroine, and they get married and then they lived happily ever after. So this is how most of the Bollywood stories also end, and this is how all these Cinderella stories, all these princesses stories end. So here she gives that example of those stories like Rapunzel and other princess stories, where the women are always shown as damsels in distress and they are saved by the princess. Princess here, Prince, princess here. So here Winterson has very cleverly subverted and deconstructed. So you know what subversion is? Subversion is like when we um, when we take the story, but we change the entire scenario, ending, that this is not how the story is meant to be. Fine. So this is a technique which is used by feminist writers to say that the patriarchy is not always favorable for women. So here Winterson, because she is a queer writer as well, she is a writer who does not want to just write, because whenever we think of a love story it always seems that the story is about a man or a woman, but she says there are different dimensions that could there be to romance or to love stories. So here she has purposely deconstructed the myths, subversion of the myths she has done, so as to make the point clear that it's not happily ever after for those 12 princesses. These princesses had very bad experiences where with their husbands, and most of them wanted to get rid of their marriages, so they either murdered their husbands because they were in abusive marriages, or they escaped or ran away from those marriages due to different. So these 12 episodes describe this. So here she has subverted all these myths to show that all these princesses were not happy with the charming princess. So what she wants to show is she wants to deconstruct all these princess stories, where she says that there is no happily ever after in these stories. There are other options, other possibilities that are available to us. So here she very cleverly plays with Judith Butler's idea of performativity, where she says that how the roles are performed uh, by the society, where these are the roles that have to be performed by men and these are the roles that have to be performed by women. And the society is always uh, subsumed by these roles. These roles may become very suffocated, these marriages may become very suffocated, but people have to live in that. Why? Because the society does not provide any other options. So here she is very cleverly deconstructing, subverting all these myths of the 12 princesses to show that these princesses were never happy in their marriages, and most of them either murdered their husbands, got rid of them in one way or another, or escaped from those marriages. Okay. One other thing that needs to be discussed is that sexing the title